Students, now I am discussing the third problem under transportation problem method. So, where we work out the initial basic feasible solution under the three methods that we have, that is northwest corner method, least cost method, and Vogel's approximation method. So, here it is you are given the supply and the demand. So, the sources and the supply points are given, and the demand and the destinations are also given. So as we know, the ones which are given in the uh, uh, here the boxes represent the costs. So supply and demand is given. So first, going by the northwest corner method, I'll have to go with the first cell. So compare these two and make an allocation, right? So we'll start with the first cell. So 6 and 11, if you make a comparison, 6 is the least one. So we are left with, we will be able to cancel this and we'll go with this. So here 5 and 10, if you compare, 5 is the one allocation we make. So we are totally made the allocation. So we are left with 0 here and it is 5 here. So coming down here, it is 5. So I'm left with 0. So I'll be able to cancel this. Shifting on to the one here, I have already made the allocation of 5 here, so I'm left with 8. So going with this particular cell, 8 and 12, if I compare, 8 is the one least value, so I'm left with 0 here. So this is cancelled. So coming down here, only 4 is the thing that is left over, 12 minus 8. So going by this, so 4 is the allocation that I can make. So with this I will be able to cancel this and I'm left with 15. So 15 is the final allocation I make. So now the number of allocations will be m plus n minus 1, so which is equal to here rows, right? So 1 2 3, so 3 plus 4 columns minus 1, so 6 allocations should be there. 1 2 3 4 5 6, so 6 allocations are met with. So now I can work out the total cost. 21 into 6 plus 16 into 5 plus 18 into 5 plus 14 into 8 plus 18 into 4 plus 41 into 15. So we will have to work out the total cost here. So 1095 rupees is what we get under the northwest corner method. Now let us go with the least cost method. So under the least cost method, as we have mentioned earlier, as we have discussed earlier, I have to go with the least cost from among the costs which are given. So if you compare the costs here, the least cost is 3. So if I go with this particular cell, the allocations that I can make is 11, is it not? So I'll be left with 0 and 4 here. So I'll cancel this with the pencil. So now comparing the costs under the leftover cells, 13 is the least cost comparing the thing. So 4 is the allocation that I can make here. So I'll be able to cancel this. I'm left with the 9. So if I compare the costs here, 14 is the least cost. So 9 and 12, if I compare, 9 is what is the allocation I can make. So 3 is what is left over. So finally I can make here the least cost among these is 18, so 3. So I'll be left with 0, so this gets cancelled. So I can make allocations of 6 and 10 to the remaining cells. So now let us work out the number of allocations and the total cost. The number of allocations are m plus n minus 1. So 3 plus 4 minus 1 is equal to 6 allocations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is satisfied now. So now let us calculate the total cost. So the total cost will be, so if we work out the total cost, it is rupees 727. So this is least in comparison. This is comparatively little less. So northwest corner method we had 1095 and the least cost method we are having 727. Now let us work out under the Vogel's approximation method or the least penalty method. Now let us work out the initial basic feasible solution using the WAM method. So this is how is the data, this is what is the data that has been given to us. So now we'll have to calculate the penalties, right? So we'll have to calculate the penalties. So under calculation of the penalties, what we do is when we compare the cost, we take up the two least costs and find out the difference. It is 12 here. So 13 minus 14 minus 13 is 1. So 18 minus 27 is 9. So going by this, it is 4. 21 minus 17. 18 minus 16, 2. 15 minus 15 is 1. So 10. So comparing the penalties, the highest penalty is 12. So we have to make an allocation here for the least cost cell. So 3 is the least cost in comparison with the other cells. So what I do is compare the supply and the demand. So 11 is what is a thing I can do allocation here for this particular cell. So this is cancelled, this is 0 and this is 4. So now again we will have to calculate the penalties. So we are left with only these two. So it is 15, it is 9, so 4, and here it is 28. So if you compare the penalties here, the least one is 28. So if I go with this, so 13 is a least cost here. So 4 is what we'll have to allocate, since the demand is only for 4. So here I am left with 9. So this is totally cancelled. Now again I have to calculate the penalties. So nil here. So here 17 and 14. So 3. Then 18 minus 27 minus 18. So going by this here, it is 15, 9, 4. So if you compare the values here, the maximum penalty is 15. So I have to make the allocations in this particular column. So going by the costs here, so 6 and 9, 17 is the least cost. If you compare the demand and supply, 6 is the least one. So I make the allocation of 6 here. So we'll be able to cancel out this particular row. So I'm left with only 3 here. So now again I'll have to calculate the penalties. So it is 9, 4, and here nil. So again it is nil here, 4 and 9. So if you observe here, there is a maximum penalty is 9. We get 9 here as well, and even here also we have 9. So in this particular case, what we do is, where we can identify the least cost, and where it can, even the least cost is also here the same, right? So where I can make the maximum allocation, I have to check. So here if I go with this particular cell, only 3 is the allocation I can make. So if I select this particular cell, 12 is what is the allocation I can make. So in this particular case, what we do is we select that particular cell where we can make the maximum allocation. So what I do is, here in this particular case, I'll select this, and the maximum allocation can be done at a least cost. So here it is 7 and it is 0. With not. So coming down to finally we are left with only these two. So allocation is made. Now let us calculate the number of allocations. Going by the number of allocations, m plus n minus 1 is equal to 6. So m is rows 1, 2, 3. So 3 plus 4 minus 1. So columns are 1, 2, 3, 4. So 6 allocations should be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we are having the number of allocations to be m plus n minus 1. Going by the total cost, 3 into 11 plus 17 into 6 plus 18 into 3, 13 into 4 plus 27 into 7 plus 18 into 12, that is equal to 646. So if you compare the costs here, under the northwest corner method it was 1095, under the least cost method it was 727, and under the vocal approximation method it is 646. So this is the least cost from among all the 3 methods that we have calculated. Thank you.